now is United States Air Force Second Lieutenant and Pipe Hitter Foundation grantee, Addie Hulet. Addie, welcome to the show.
Hi, Kennedy. Thanks so much for having me on.
So let's talk a little bit about this, because there are 8,400 service members who were basically kicked out of the military. What happens to them now?
Yeah, so first I want to start off by saying that since I am in the military, my opinions are my own. I am not speaking on behalf of the Department of Defense or the United States Air Force, and I do want to give a huge shout out to the Pipe Hitter Foundation, who is helping myself seek justice, as well as other public servants and other military service members across the world who are suffering injustices just like these. So if you're interested in helping us out, please check out the Pipe Hitter Foundation.
Lovely. All right, so the 8,400 service members who have been kicked out of various branches, what happens to them even though the COVID vaccine mandate has been rescinded?
So to date, there is no official guidance on what happens to those service members. But what I want to touch on that is so important is one fact and one fact only. In that mandate, it very clearly states that the only vaccine that can be mandated to service members must have FDA approval. There is no FDA-approved vaccine on the market. And that stems from Title 10 law, Section 1107 Alpha, that was created in the 90s after the anthrax vaccine, in which we saw thousands of service members suffer severe adverse reactions, including death, from a trial vaccination. That was created in the 90s to prevent things like what we see going on to date, which is the unlawful coercion of a trial vaccine on service members. So those 8,400 service members who have been kicked out, they've all been kicked out unlawfully. They should not have been kicked out, and there is no reason for a service member to have had to have filed a religious accommodation request because there is no FDA-approved vaccine. So what are you requesting exemption from?
Yes, and it seems as though the religious exemption, that should be kind of sacred. You know, that's a conversation that takes place between you and your pastor or your priest or your rabbi or your imam, whoever that may be. And I'm kind of surprised to see the military not honoring that. But there are people who are still active military members and they're still being punished. Why is that?
Well, Kennedy, actually, there's only one person that you have to answer to, and that's your God, no one else. So you should not be having to justify your religion or your religious beliefs, because truly in your heart, there's only one person that you answer to, and that person is not here on earth. So still, yes, to date, we are seeing service members being punished for having their religious beliefs. And there is not a person who can tell you whether or not your religious beliefs are sound and just. But like we said earlier, there's no reason for that. We shouldn't have gotten to that point because there is no FDA-approved vaccination. So there's not a single service member who should have had to request exemption for something that doesn't exist to date.
Well, I agree with you completely. I think there are a number of reasons that younger, healthy people, if they don't want to get the vaccine, they shouldn't be fired and they shouldn't be forced. They realize that at the Pentagon, and that's why it was put into this defense agreement, because they're having a really hard time getting new people to enlist. You know, recruitment has been a real problem, and the Secretary of Defense says it's all about force readiness. Well, even if you have the vaccine, guess what? You can still get COVID. Even if you have the vaccine, even if you've been boosted, guess what? You can still spread COVID. So maybe tell people to wear masks and stay home for a couple days instead of kicking them out from their brave and honorable posts. Addie, thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Of course, thank you.
Absolutely. And good luck with everything. Keep us posted.
Thank you.